Well, good morning, everyone. And it's such a great privilege to be here. I'm really humbled by the invitation to represent our office and really our commitment to this very important program. And I'll begin by extending greetings from the President, Ms. Hakainde Hichilema, who certainly not only conveys his regards, but conveys his appreciation, not only based on what has been shared before, your support in the previous ISIC, but also to encourage you to support the upcoming ISIC. My job is very simple today in capturing the essence of why this is so important to all of us as a country, particularly to the President. It's really what ISIC represents. It's not just an event. It's really, Zambia bringing the world together, being that oasis in the world of vast complexity, geopolitical rivalries, and all these various factors. It's a place where multiple jurisdictions can come and invest and be at home and be recognized, not in a preferential manner, but in a manner that is egalitarian. Whether you're from the East, you're from the West, you're from the Middle East, you're from the continent of Africa, you're invested. And the beauty is the evidence of what you've seen over the last 4 years, from the mining sector to the energy sector, the agro sector, the logistical corridors that are coming up. All of these are representation of the confidence that investors see in our country, in the leadership, taking advantage of the reform agenda. That's why I love the theme. It captures everything that this government has been doing to ensure that we uplift the attractiveness of Zambia as an investment destination. And we see the capital flowing. We see the transactions being done, being actualized, that these are not mere pledges, that these are actualized transactions that add to the stimulation of our economy. This is why you see the records being broken. You see the coming down of our inflation. You see the GDP growth rate breaking barriers beyond even what has debilitated our growth, which is the climate change induced power deficit, which is being worked on very aggressively. And you see the diversification of our energy mix. You see the record-breaking tourist numbers, 2.4 million tourists, more than ever before in our history. You see us breaching the highest ever production from a copper perspective. You see us becoming the best capital market environment on the continent, having the best performing capital market bourse in Africa. You see so much happening as ultimately being evidence. If I was standing here 4 years ago, I'd be talking about a dream. What I'm saying would have sounded like, yeah, that sounds nice. It would be good to have. But I'm speaking of what has already been accomplished. But what's even more exciting is what is coming in the future. That we have a process, that the seeds of prosperity have already been planted. And now it's for us collectively to actualize this. And the only way we can do it is if capital from the various jurisdictions that you represent, including domestically, is mobilized effectively, recognizing the confidence that's already there, the opportunity. We have geophysical mapping, meaning the mining sector is going to continue to grow. You're seeing expansions in that space. Energy security is there, food security. That's another record-breaking sector where the agro space has delivered the largest maize harvest in our history. So essentially meaning that we are now on track, that the takeoff is now truly in place. That when the President said a bold statement many years ago prior to him ascending to the presidency, that Africa will witness the greatest economic turnaround in its history, it is coming to fruition. It is an actual fact. The proof is in the numbers. You cannot contest that. So we must come together, support ISIC 2026, and let's be building the momentum towards delivering a double-digit GDP growth over the next 5 years, because we can do it. And we do this not because of the excitement of throwing out numbers. It's because when our GDP grows, it means that that child who could not go to school in Kaputa, in Serenje, in Mongu, can now do so. Of course, we made education free, and the human capital element is being developed, but the social impact is so important to us. Delivering on ensuring that youth unemployment comes to an end, that the enhancement of the wealth of this country is one that can be applied to ensure that the quality of life of every citizen is also uplifted. And we trust the fact that when we mobilize capital from markets around the world, we recognize that capital has a base in which it comes from. It comes from savings. It comes from the trust of a retiree in California who puts her money in a pension fund, who then gets, essentially, the funds get managed by a fund manager who then comes to decide, should I invest in a new mine in Zambia? This is how FDI works. And even when we speak to our citizens about the importance of partnerships of FDI, I know many have the impression that it's an anti-sovereign perspective. There's a fear of imperialism, so to speak, for political reasons. But the fact of the matter is, some of the countries that have experienced the greatest transformations within a space of a lifetime, in a generation, take Singapore, for example, going from third world to first world, they had to engage with multiple external stakeholders, those with the capital. And this is exactly what we're doing. It's a playbook that has already been written that we can apply and we can succeed. We are more confident than ever. And standing here, as someone who obviously has been so privileged to work with a transformational, incredible leader who set these targets. So let's work together. Let's support this great program. I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak to you today. I'm grateful to the great team from ZDA, Ministry of Commerce, for all the great work that you've done. And we can make it happen. Let's go. Thank you.